Long Yahweh, bless the more people, righteousness of the earth. All right. Shalom Alaikum to the Muslim brothers. Namaste. Ashe to the ancestors, to those who carry on the spirit of truth, righteousness, judgment, okay, personal courage, integrity. Right now, this is a question that been kind of pondering on. And it deals with the communication that was going on between so-called Hebrews and the people of Kemet, or which is called Egypt. Question is, if Joseph was second in command, how did Joseph communicate with the Egyptians if they have a different language? So either Joseph was bilingual, he learned the language, or the languages were so close that they understood. And yet again, how does so-called Jacob or Yakub, okay, the father of the 12, how does he communicate with so-called Pharaoh when Joseph took him to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh asked him, "What is your occupation?" Okay, so these are the questions and simple things like that jump out at me when I'm reading the prophetic book of what they call the Bible. So that's the question I have. And if that was so that they spoke the same language or close to the same language, wouldn't that mean that they would have to understand the writings on the walls of Kemet? Wouldn't so-called Hebrews, who had been absorbed into the so-called Egyptian culture, they had to communicate some kind of way? Okay, so I'm looking for the connection, okay, and not the difference of the separations. All right, which like I'm big on that, on connection. You got to connect the dots, because other than that, you're just floating around aimlessly, still coming back to the same spot you was 40 years ago. As they said, they Israelites circle the mountain for 40 years. Okay, so next question is also in the beginning, right? Genesis. If so-called Cain was expelled from the Garden of Eden, and he dwelt east in the land of Nod, and at the subsequent fall of Adam, okay, and Eve partaking of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, if there were cherubims placed at the east of the gate of Eden with the flaming sword to keep them out, now that makes you see and make you kind of like wonder how did these people communicate with each other? So see, while we are busy separating and trying to distinguish who was first and who was last, well, the scripture says if Kemet was first, being the son of Noah, Ham, then it says that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Okay, so now that's a birthright. Okay, and that may be a power struggle, and because we do that in families today, you know. But the question is, if Cain dwelt in the land of Nod, and then Adam and Eve were kicked out east of the garden, which would closely be the same place, Nod, now it's understandable and more easily to see that they also dwelt together, which explains why Cain took the daughters of Yahweh and they procreated, man. You know? So when you understand that portion of it and you gather the information to make it make sense, you put the pieces of the puzzle together nonetheless. All right? So in the land of Nod, and Nod means to fall asleep, to doze off. So, you know, here we are 6,000 years later, okay, and they're still sleeping in the land of Nod, snoring, you know. So, man, that's just the question I had for tonight. I said, I'll be doing some Q&As, and I will be doing some kind of lecture series, but let's get to it. Help me out with that, family, all right? Put your input in. I welcome the input. Barak Hashem Yudhe Wave. Barak Hashem Yudhe Wave Bet Nun Sofit Yudhe Wave. Peace up, all right, to the Muslim brothers, to my Moors, to RBG, all right. Peace up to my brothers, gods of the earth, and Shalom Yahweh.